So, as you've gathered in this room, we're talking all about innovation, and we're going to be talking much about ecosystems and trying to learn from different ecosystems here, because we have gathered quite the assortment of speakers from various places in the world with various experiences that they have gone through it themselves. So right now, this next story will be about ecosystems, and we're going to learn from the city of Vaasa and their energy ecosystem, how they're building it all around the city. Key takeaways from Finland. So we welcome on the stage the founder of EnergySpin Accelerator. He's an entrepreneur, an advisor, a business angel. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Marko Koski. Marko, nice to see you.
Thank you.
The stage is yours.
Thank you. Sunny city in Finland, Vaasa. Windiest. One of the things we're up to is the location. That makes us one of the major suppliers in tar in 1600s. Globally, wooden ships were used for our tar. But we couldn't rely on that one, so we invented something new. I don't go back as far as 400 years. I'll start with something like 100 years. There were a group of people, brothers, went to study in USA. They thought about engineering, there would be something great in the end of 1800s. Perhaps you know Henry Ford. Somebody might be driving that car. But there are three pioneers. One of them was John Wikström, presenting also his car. Actually started 3 companies in USA. He couldn't get finance his fourth one. Perhaps better? Yeah. The fourth company, the investors thought, no way, this doesn't work out. He returned to Finland and started his fourth company and so on. Instead of having more automobiles, he used them for the boats. One of the earliest ones went bankrupt about 1940, something like that. Wärtsilä, one of the biggest corporations, bought that company up. That's the history behind it. Is it luck? He returned to Finland. Is it something else? Partly luck, of course. Fast forward about 50, 60 years from that one. I used to work with one large corporation. At the same time, there were 3 people working during the winter time. They thought about, the manager said, don't work on that one. We have much more important issues which we are working on. Don't spend your holidays, go home, be with your wife and kids. But those guys, they were eager. They came back. They come working with their staff, thought about what's happening. They thought about this is nice stuff. And the rest is more or less history. Because smart grids were invented then. Fast forward about 20 years, the fair in Berlin or Munich, I can't recall it which one. There was one large German corporation there presenting smart grids. The same guys, or actually not the same guys, but the people who were working with them were walking to that booth, said, what is happening here? The smart grids, what is this? We don't know anything about what is happening here. They were competitors. Asking a little bit sometime about the manager, what are you up to? Coming back to the booth for the rest of people, don't worry, we've been working on this for 15 years. So that's one of the things. Is it curiosity? Has to be. Otherwise, you want to spend your own holiday with something else rather than be in the dark room working with something you're working on. And the manager says, don't take that on the table. Dedication, definitely that one as well. You know you're up to something. You go on working on that one. So a lot of things happened. In Finland, energy sector is quite strong. clean tech sector, but it's Vaasa especially. We have 180 companies, close to 10 corporations, large corporations globally, sell to every country in the world those products. Danfoss, which was Vacon at one time, saved over 2% of the whole world electricity production with its products. Quite a number for people who are working in Vaasa, 500 people. 2% is the whole electricity production in the whole world, or consumption. One of the reasons is sort of a cross-pollination. People go on working on the different places. If there's 10 corporations in the same place, and you are working on something, and somebody hiring you that, okay, let's put 1,000 more euros for you to come here. So there's a clear cross-pollination going on. If you would be only one company doing something, you'll be isolated. So that's one of the things. So basically natural cross-pollination. But then there's, of course, something that is more than force what is happening. When Vacon was born, ABB has somebody in Zurich in mind that this business unit doesn't make enough money for the whole consortium. So we're cutting this business unit out. But please, people, you were able to provide it another ABB to work on the same, still on the same company. But those people were actually, I think it was 8 or 9 people that are about, we have been working on this one so long, we believe this is going to be something great. They started Vacon. 20 years back later, 1 billion company sold to Danfoss. That was the company who was actually saving to 2% of the electricity consumption. So basically, what's happening, there's spin-offs, forced spin-offs, innovations coming on those big companies, which come naturally, some of them less naturally. And the history is long. Wärtsilä's 185 years old. Danfoss, or the part of Danfoss, Vacon, is less. It's like 35 years. But it's not the only thing. You have to have a leap of faith, but not that sort of leap of faith I'm looking into. Behind that one is a lot of expertise and knowledge and know-how. One of the issues is trust. Trust between the people, trust between the companies, and also if you believe that, okay, there's something you are working on which you truly believe, there has to be a backup. Everything behind you needs to be backed up somehow. From that perspective, you can go beyond your boundaries. Otherwise, it's just, I don't know, it's stupidness if you do something like that without knowing what you're doing. That's about background. What's been happening since then? If you know your history, then you can a little bit know the present, but can you predict or steer the future? Without knowing the past, you can't steer the future. You don't even predict the future, anyhow. Can this be replicated somewhere else? Or can we improve it somehow? Yes, to some certain extent you can do it. You have to take some of the takeaways from what happened in Finland, happened in Vaasa. You can take something what happened in Silicon Valley. You can take something else. But could you do it similar in Mongolia in the middle of summer? Some parts, perhaps, but not in the same way. History is long. Some of the things I would need to consider wherever you are, if you want to build an ecosystem based on something. Don't put all the eggs in one basket. Diversify, either vertically or horizontally. You have to be able to expand the things. If we only relied on tar in 1600s, we'd be doing nothing. That's the oil industry in Norway doing. They get the money from the oil, they're expanding to some other places as well. Same thing is happening also in Vaasa. We're heading now to the not only battery industry, but how we can use hydrogen. There were some times we thought about nuclear power as well. There were people working with that one, so you have to do that part as well. You're able to find out new solutions. Diversify. Collaboration. No one can succeed alone. Those big companies, they always need some smaller ones as well. They need each other. The problem with the big corporations, once they're working together, that they have their strategic goals, the business areas they're focusing on, and they're competing with each other. So where you can find the boundaries where you work together, that's where opportunities lies also for the startups. And of course, startups could be enablers for something bigger growth. So please do collaborate. Big companies, they can't even succeed by themselves. Smaller ones, no chance. You have to find good partners, you have to find a way to go further. You can't build the pyramid upside down. Or you can, but it takes much more time and more difficult. So build on your strengths. And it's not about the company strengths, it's about the whole ecosystem. It's about education, governance, laws, everything. You have to have the basics somehow in ground. Of course, the foundation is smaller once you're starting with something scratch, like say in Mongolia. But you have to find the ways how you can build on something. If you think about Vaasa, we're very strong on energy technology in different fields. But for example, cybersecurity, not so much. But if you want to go beyond vertically or horizontally, we have to have some know-how and expertise on those areas we're looking into. So don't try to catch the moon from somewhere else where there's no basis. Seize on the future opportunities. It's a disruption going on. Companies go down. New business opportunities are rising just from the middle. If you look back, let's say, 2 or 3 years, not many thought about how AI will be changing the world. It's basically not about some workplaces. It's changing everything. How we think and how we kind of manage the things. So if you're a company owner, you're starting something, trying to figure out that how you can actually implement those new things what are coming up to. One of the earliest notes while looking into this one in AI, trying to figure out not only the company-wise, but you have to see the whole impact on the ecosystem, whole impact on societies. Think about 20 years ahead. It's like with the tar trade in 1600s. Everything might be disrupted. Take those opportunities, even though they are kind of at the same time destroying perhaps societies. You have to understand those ones. We've been working with the startups since 2017 in EnergySpin. We're connecting them to our ecosystem, finding those missing pieces. If you think about big corporations, they are focusing on something that's strategically very important for them. In those cases, they are scouting everywhere, trying to keep on track on that something. And there is kind of difficult how to actually put a good conversation going on and how actually find the business opportunities. But somewhere where it is kind of business-wise interesting, but not in their core focus, there are the opportunities which are lying for the startups. There we're trying to find out, okay, are you mature enough helping the startups finding the good opportunities with our 10 large corporations and putting them together. Because clock is ticking differently for the large corporations and startups. Startups are running out of the money. Corporations, like they have their corporate governance, they supply, okay, have you filled this form, ESG, how does it look at the moment? And startups, they don't have anything ready in that sense. So we're trying to match them in that sense. That's how we operate on the EnergySpin, with a pretty decent results. My name is Marko Koski. And your questions ready if you have anything, or perhaps you have something.
Thank you, Marko. A round of applause. So we have one question here. You mentioned that there are some aspects, some industries that you are looking forward to maybe joining and some ventures in Vaasa and with EnergySpin Accelerator. What types of startups that are here today should approach you, and maybe where do you see some opportunities of business?
If you think about hydrogen, that's becoming a very strong thing in general, both in north of Europe and south of Europe, and we believe Finland will be one of the in the forefront of that one. So definitely something with the hydrogen, how you make power from power to X to power, all these kind of solutions, and energy storage solutions on that side. Marine sector is very strong, or how to actually be a non-pollutive solutions on that sense, everything on that sense.
All right, so hydrogen is the future, you say?
We believe we find solutions, it's going to be.
Excellent. Marko, thank you very much. A round of applause to Marko.
Thank you.